Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Hit the like and the share buttons. A big piece of breaking news from the Times this evening that Chelsea are facing a challenge to comply with UEFA's financial rules after the European governing body confirmed that it does not allow and will not allow clubs to register income from selling their assets to a sister company. Now, we know that this is how Chelsea complied with Premier League PSR. What does this mean for Chelsea? Could there be a ban? Could they be kicked out of Europe? What implications is this going to have for future income, future PSR and FFP situations for this club? We're going to delve into the article in more details. Please hit the like button. Please make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. As you can see, Chelsea facing a challenge to comply with UEFA's financial fair play rules because all their losses that have been not covered up would be the wrong word, but all their losses that have been offset against the sale of assets, so the hotels, etc., to their sister companies, are not allowed. They're not adjustables that can be allowed under UEFA's rules. It says the Premier League have yet to close loopholes that have allowed Chelsea to register the two sales of hotels for £76 million and to sell the women's team to the club's parent company. UEFA confirmed that its rules did not allow clubs to register income from selling assets to sister companies, but stressed that all cases would have to be assessed individually by its independent panel. Such transactions are also banned by the English Football League for clubs in the Championship, League One and League Two. Any sanctions or settlements for breaches of UEFA's financial fair rules would not affect Chelsea in this current season's Conference League, but would be applied to the next season. So as much as some Chelsea fans may say, well, an independent body is going to look at this, a panel is going to assess whether or not. So there's not a blanket. The rule is, and I want to make sure I break this down properly, based on what the article is telling us, that you can't just make the sales and it be okay. UEFA are going to investigate. UEFA are going to put an independent panel to assess the situation, and then they're either going to agree or disagree to allow you to use it. Therefore, you could face sanctions for the following season, is essentially what's being said. It won't impact their Conference League campaign. But should they be successful in the Conference League, should they make it back into the Champions League, as many Chelsea fans believe they will, they could face a sanction for the following season that potentially expels them from European football. UEFA's Club Financial Control Board has a range of sanctions at its discretion, ranging from a warning or a fine to excluding the club from European competition. In 2018, AC Milan agreed a settlement with UEFA to serve a one-year ban from European football, but that was for several breaches of financial fair play. It says Chelsea's UEFA challenges are also greater because the European body had stricter rules than the Premier League in terms of the amount clubs can lose. Under the new football earnings rule, which has replaced FFP system, clubs in Europe will this season be allowed to have a loss a maximum of 40 million euros, about 34 million pounds over the 2022 to 2024 seasons. That compares with 105 million over 3 years in the English top flight. So this is where Chelsea's problems could lie. They have complied just about with the 105 million pound rule through the sale of these assets. However, if that is lowered to 34 million pounds and they're not allowed to include the sale of these assets, that could be an almighty breach over that period. And this is where it could become precarious for Chelsea. Chelsea need Champions League football. Chelsea have a model which is very much based on spend lots at the beginning, be very top heavy. That squad then develops. We sell some of the assets to make the money back if they develop how we expect. And that young team that we have built comes to fruition. We're in the Champions League. We're winning Premier Leagues. We're winning trophies. The revenue grows. The endorsements grow. And everything settles itself down. And they would probably then go back to a more regular pattern of spending. I understand the logic behind that model. The pitfall is if they're not successful, if they don't get back into the Champions League, if they don't win trophies, if the endorsements and the commerciality doesn't rise, currently earning sort of 500 to 600 million a year, with what they're spending, if that doesn't rise to 700-800 million and the success isn't there, how do they then rectify this with the amount of money that they've already spent if revenues are then decreasing and they can't get back into Europe? This is why, and I stand by this view of mine, Chelsea could be hugely successful this season. But over this campaign and next campaign, getting back into the Champions League, I think probably both years, winning trophies again is of paramount importance to Chelsea Football Club. Kieran Maguire, a football finance author, said that Chelsea's position in terms of compliance with UEFA's financial sustainability rules could be more than challenging, given UEFA are not as flexible when it comes to real estate sales to related or associated parties. This could also apply if the women's team has been sold to another part of the Clear Lake Bowley empire. Chelsea have been approached for comment, but the club's chairman, Todd Bowley, stated in the club's most recent accounts published in April that they expect to comply with UEFA's rules. And let's be fair to Chelsea, they believe they will. They believe that they have followed them. They believe that they will go through the independent panel. It is just the football finance experts and the sort of journalists that are around this that believe there is going to be a problem. In my humble opinion, and some of you won't have got to nearly 7 minutes in without going mental in the comment section, I think Chelsea will probably end up complying. You know, these are very wealthy men with amazing lawyers and amazing accountants that will study the rules to within an inch of their lives and ensure that they are either complying or at the very least in a position whereby they've got a great argument to why what they have done complies with their interpretation of the rules, if that makes sense. The only element that I think could go wrong for Chelsea is I think one is if they don't get success and they lose money again this year, because they spent a lot again. If they don't get back in the Champions League, they could find themselves in financial trouble irrespective. But if they do get back into the Champions League, but they haven't got their compliance right and they get kicked out of the Champions League, that could cause them major problems. The only other element is the self-reported breaches, historical breaches under Roman Abramovich. And I feel that that's and I saw a few Chelsea fans online tonight say, well, the Times has spoken about these charges and the self-reported elements, and we've heard nothing back about that. Why should I take this seriously? Well, we've heard the chief of the Premier League state that the conclusion of Chelsea's investigation is coming soon. So let's see what comes out of that as an example. I believe we should all remain open-minded. I believe that we should all remain... I think Chelsea fans should remain diligent and should be, even if you're just doing this privately, should be pushing to ensure they know their club. Not just their club's telling them they're in a good position, but they should maybe want to ask, speak to the fan groups, get this information, know that you are, and you have a real confidence that you are compliant. But again, the media tonight, they're out for Chelsea. They believe there could be a big problem. They believe there could be a potential ban or a sanction from UEFA. But I want your views and I want your opinions in the comments section below. Do you think this is the Chelsea witch hunt? Do you think this is a storm in a teacup, a mountain being made out of a molehill? Or do you believe that Chelsea are sailing very close to the PSR, the Profit and Sustainability, the FFP sun? And should they not have got their ducks in a row, could they be facing big sanctions and big problems moving ahead? I want to get your views and I want to get your opinions in the comments section below. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you soon. Peace.